What is up, Philadelphia? Good evening. It's late. It's okay. Sometimes HRS Late Nights is a little later than expected. This isn't going to be a long one tonight. Tony Cutillo, HRS Late Nights. Give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports. You can follow me at my own personal account at Tony Cutillo RRM. I had to get it in because there's been some things that have really bothered my mind. But right now, full transparency, I'm dealing with a highly allergic reaction from not me personally, but my dog. So she's literally sitting here. Just shot her up with some Benadryl, and I've been dealing with that for like the last hour. She had some shots today. She's got a little reaction. So just trying to take care of her. So this won't be long-winded tonight, but I think it's a really good conversation to have. And sometimes things set me off. And I've been really good lately. I have. I've been really good lately. And part of that reason is probably because I haven't been as connected into certain areas. And I just started to get reconnected as of recently when I want to go full bore for HRS Late Nights. And the more I get into the social media aspect, the more I get into the headlines and the news, I just see fraud after fraud after fraud. There are so many fraudulent hosts out there, whether they're podcast hosts, whether they're radio hosts, whether they're TV. I'm sorry. It is. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a disrespect for specific athletes. It's a disrespect for specific sports teams. Like, you can already tell when somebody's being forced to talk about something and they absolutely have no clue what it's about. Like zero. Like, you could put them on a spot. They have no idea what they're talking about, but somehow, some way, they get preferential treatment. I still don't understand it. I don't get it. I'm not saying over me. I'm just looking at the landscape of people that I feel like should be doing certain things and aren't. And I think we need to talk about it, right? Also, tonight, shout out Caitlin Clark, another person that still does not get her just due. Not only did she break the scoring record tonight, okay, but she broke it with a 40-footer, like shattered it in the first couple minutes of the game. She was like, no, listen, no disrespect to anybody, but I'm just balling out and I want this record now. Just a fantastic story. Honestly, God, fantastic story that has not been given enough justice, in my opinion. And let's be honest, it's because it is college basketball and it's women. And unfortunately, they just don't hold the same attention span. And that's because they're not highlighted enough. That's my opinion. Whether you like it or you don't, really don't care. That's my opinion. And it should be better. There should be more coverage on it. We should be talking about it more. Not just because there's a record. We should be talking about it all the time. We should be talking about it all the time. And that's one of those things. And that's one of my points that I wanted to really be home tonight. Is there's so many different things that we need to talk about that we're not talking about. And we're only talking about it when it happens. And we need to change that narrative. And if you have your own show, and if you're doing something that's, a positive format, you need to change that narrative. Because I'll be honest with you, man, the frauds are everywhere. The frauds are everywhere. And I'd love to know. I want you to check in. If you're checking in right now, you're checking in afterwards, you're checking in the morning. Tell me who your favorite fraud is, okay? Because I already know. I'm not going to call them out. But there's a lot of frauds right now, a lot of frauds. And I just tweeted out, you can hate me for saying it. You can not like me for saying it. But honestly, right now, I don't care. Okay? Because one specific example, and I'm going to keep receipts. I'm going to continue to keep receipts. You know what? Because everybody keeps receipts. Everybody. Whether they say they don't or not, they do. And they're quick. Nobody's quick to give you the praise, but they're quick to shoot you down when you were wrong on something. See, I don't mind. I'm an open book. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'll tell you when I'm right. It's simple as that. And on Ricky Council, I was spot on. And all these frauds out there right now, that are talking about Ricky Council because he's the hot thing. They had no idea who this guy was. They didn't know what jersey number he was. They had no idea he played for the Delaware Bluecoats. They had no idea where he went to school. They didn't know he was in the transfer portal. They didn't know anything. But now they're talking about him, right? Oh, did you see Ricky Council? Wow, look at this kid. Oh, my God, this guy. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're a fraud. A complete fraud. And I can't stand it. I can't. And I've been holding back for so long. I can't stand it. It's so ridiculous. Like last year, I'm not going to say any names, but last year when it was cool to be a Philadelphia Union guy, and all of a sudden these people come out of the woodwork. Union. I heard a specific station, okay, a specific time slot had Jim Curtin, the head coach, on, and they were promoing it, and they couldn't even pronounce his name. They didn't even know what was going on, but they're covering the team. How does that happen? It blows my mind. It really does. Like, do your homework, man. Do your homework. You can't tell me that you don't do show rehearsal. You can't tell me that you don't do a show doc. You didn't do any amount of research whatsoever to even make it sound like you had a clue. That's the problem. But because people are cool and we like certain people, we're going to bump them up. Oh, look at this guy's unbelievable. Dude, that dude couldn't talk for 5 minutes if you tried. And it's a shame. It's an absolute disgrace. Sorry, it is. And I know they're out there, and you guys know they're out there. My man Foods, what's up, buddy? I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know some frauds out there, some fraudulent hosts, some fraudulent people that want to call themselves sports media people. I take this shit seriously, man. I take it seriously. I'm not kidding. I do. I take it seriously. I've been told so many times by so many different people that I take it too seriously. I was told by a specific person I'll never forget. I won't say no names. I was told specifically, like, I treat this like a job. Okay. And your point is, whether I get paid or not, this is my passion, man. This is what I love. And I believe in myself. And I'll tell you what, man, when you believe in yourself and you have confidence in yourself and you have confidence in your abilities, it's okay to treat this like a job. If this is what you want to do, if this is your passion and you're passionate about something, why not? Because guess what? You know what that passion does? That passion is what got me, okay, to start working with the Bluecoats. That passion is what got me to start covering individual players. And that passion is what got me to go the extra step, the extra mile, to say, you know what? I'm going to find out what this guy's background is, man, because he jumps off the charts to me. Not because anybody was talking about him, not because he was on a web gem on Sports Center, not because, again, it was something that was the hot topic of the week. No, because I myself wanted to be involved and wanted to be informed, okay? Not because it was something I was asked to do. Not because it was something that I had to talk about, right? It's mind-boggling to me. It really is. And you know what? I don't need any credit for it. I give myself credit. I'm not asking for credit or accolades or anything like that. I just want people to call out the fakeness and the frauds. That's all I want them to do, please. Because it is not fair to people that I know that bust their ass every day, that consistently show up and show out, where these other people take advantage of the spots that they have, and they don't even do their homework, and they don't even treat it like a job when it actually is their job. It's an absolute joke. That's what it is. And you know what? That's why it's dying. It's unfortunate, man. It really is, but it's unfortunate. That's why it's dying. It's because there's nobody to hang your hat onto anymore. Nobody that does a research. You know what? I will call a name out in a good way, okay? In a positive way. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, because you know what? Here's the thing. I don't think people give credit enough when credit is due. And you know why they don't do it? Because they're scared. They're afraid. They're afraid that maybe somebody, I don't know. Oh my God, I better not give somebody credit. Maybe they'll see what I'm doing, and maybe they'll try to steal my idea. Or it's the industry is so ridiculous. It really is. It's absolutely ridiculous sometimes that people are so childish. Okay. And so I actually want to call people out that I think do a tremendous job. Okay. So again, people that do their homework against people that don't do their homework, people that are educated against people that are uneducated, people that take their job seriously and people that think it's a joke. Okay. People that are happy to be where they're at and people that take advantage of the spots where they're at. The 76ers make a bunch of trades at the deadline. Now, I don't always listen to sports radio, okay? But if I do, and I'm listening between 2 to 6, I listen to the best show ever. Call it what you want. Everybody has their opinion, right? Everybody has their opinion, okay? I like to listen to Tyrone Johnson. That's why I like to listen to. And I know he gets a lot of flack, okay? I get it. People talk, guy talks down to me, acts like he knows everything. Actually, he's very educated on a lot of topics that he speaks to. Okay. But again, nobody looks past that. Now, everybody has their own opinion, right? But the reason why I bring him up is because on 3 separate occasions in the last week and a half, that dude was spot on with his takes because they were intelligent takes. And it showed that he was a student of the sport that he talks about. And I respect that. I don't have to like you, right? But I can respect you. I tell people, you don't have to like me, but you can respect me, right? And that's what I look at. And when the 76ers made the trade, okay, when they made the trade for Pat Beverly, they traded Pat Beverly and they made the trade for Campaign. There was one guy in this town in Philadelphia. One guy. And that guy was Tyrone. And Tyrone was the only guy that made any sense of the trade. I heard people talk about they had no idea who Campaign was. They had no idea who he played for. They acted like Pat Beverly was the end-all be-all of this team, right? They acted like the trades, they didn't even know about the trades. They didn't understand what the cap situation was. They didn't understand what the pick situation was. And they called themselves a radio host. That's a joke to me. It's a complete joke. Okay. But what Tyrone did, Tyrone not only broke down the player, but he broke down exactly why they did it. He showed that he understood the game. He understood the team. He understood the scheme. And guess what? It's all played out exactly the way he talked about. Now, I got to give credit to that, man. You got to give props to that. Because guess what? All the other frauds in the town, now all of a sudden, they'll come out with the Campaign talk. Wow, that guy's pretty fast. Oh, that guy can dish the ball off. Oh, that guy, it's so fraudulent, man. And guess what? If you're going to be a fraud, why don't you actually, give respect to the person that actually brought the subject up in the beginning that you just piggybacked your opinion on? Okay. No, it's funny. This is how you can tell a fraud. And I'm sorry. This is how I feel. Sometimes on HRS Late Nights with Tony Cutillo, sometimes you're going to hear complete sports talk. Sometimes you're going to hear my passionate takes on what's bothering me, within this industry or other industries. And it just happens to be, from me trolling around on social media and looking at what people say and understanding what it's just been played with my mind, man. And it's finally, I've had enough. Okay. I've had enough. I've watched people say, all of a sudden that, the Sixers aren't a fun product to watch, right? Who says that? Can I ask you that? Who says that? The Sixers aren't a fun product to watch. What are you watching, sir? You know what that just shows? You're a bandwagon fan. That's all you are. You cannot call yourself a host in this town in sports radio and not understand the players that are on your squad. You should know the numbers they wear, the position they play, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. And I'll tell you what, if you don't know, you damn sure better do your homework before you get on the air. It's basically like, the AI running rampant right now in the industry, right? And I say that all the time. The AI has been running rampant in the industry. And what kills me about the AI is, you want to know how you know if somebody's smart with their brain or they're smart with their AI? You want to know how the difference is? Tell them to hop on a Zoom. See how quick they can talk without notes. See how quick they can talk without Googling something. See how much fire they can spit and education they can spit. Right? They don't make those people anymore. Right? They don't make those people anymore. Those people now are given show sheets with statistics and, make sure you talk about this. Oh, we got to hit on this. We got to hit on that. But if somebody calls in, okay, and there's not somebody Googling something or bringing something up, okay, then they're shit out of luck, most of them, because they have no idea. If it goes off their script, they have no idea. And again, that's a fraud to me. That's going to continue to be a fraud, okay? I continue to be a fraud. So I say it all the time, man. I say it all the time. Just please do the homework. Please do the homework. And you know what else is bothering me too? I'm going to say it again. So you do understand. Again, this is HRS Late Nights. I'm Tony Cutillo. If you like what you're listening to, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like that. This is a live audio stream. Comment away, questions. I want to know. I'm asking, who is your favorite fraud? Okay. Who is your favorite fraud? Is it that Dan Cilio from Jacob Media that all he does is fabricate arguments? Yeah, there I said a name. Okay. I said a name. That dude flip-flops quicker than a sale at Old Navy, man. One day, this guy stinks. The next guy, he's a Hall of Famer. The next day, he stinks. The next day, he's the best. The next day, he's a Hall of Famer. The next day, he's a stiff. All to get clicks. All to get people to tune in, right? All to get people to tune in. I will challenge anybody to a debate, man. I have no problem. No problem. And if I lose, I lose. No notes, right? No notes. Shout out A2D, my man Tom Arnone, no notes, right? But no, seriously, no notes. There's another one. My man Javon checking in. Joe Giglio, another one. Joe Giglio has made a name for himself based on clickbait. That's what he's made a name on. I hate to say it, but 100%. He has made a name for himself on clickbait. And I think it's horrific that Hugh Douglas is stuck with him, because I love Hugh Douglas. I think Hugh Douglas is fantastic. And I can't listen because I can't listen to Joe Giglio. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Now, please understand, I respect, the education these guys went through. I respect the climb. I get it, man. I understand. I understand that they spent hours and hours contributing and growing, and I respect the hell out of that. Done the same thing. But what I don't respect is when you fabricate your opinion just to get an all. I hate that, man. I hate that. I'd rather have 5 people listen and me be able to be me than have 100 people listen and I have to make shit up. Sorry. Maybe that's why I'm not on the radio right now. Right? Maybe that's why I'm not on the radio right now. Who knows? I don't really care, though. I don't care, because it's just such a shame to me that, again, that we have to be bothered by things like this. But Joe Giglio's another one, man. He's a great one. A great one. Like I said, when I first start listening, and I did some spots with on This Week in Football, for Jacob, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, who is this Dan guy? This dude's a clown. I started listening. I was like, I can't listen to this. This is a joke, right? Like, this is real? Somebody's actually listening to this? How does this dude have 1,000 comments? For what? Why are you giving this guy airplay? Why? I don't understand. And that's what we do. And that's how I understand. We give the bad people the good press and the good people the bad press. Think about that. We give the frauds the good press, and the people that are credible and educated, we give them the bad press. I don't understand it. Like, again, who else, okay? Who else came out on social media, on a microphone like this, and gave claim to, like I told you, I know a lot of guys don't like it, but to Tyrone for legitimately nailing the analysis on the trade. Now, let me just say something too. Here's what I can tell why Tyrone's an OG. Okay. And what I mean by an OG, I mean somebody that actually does the research and understands the game. He was live on the air when the trade broke. So he didn't have time to sit there and research. He spitballed, man, on exactly what campaign was and exactly why they got him. And he broke down the shooting percentages. He broke down the scheme. He broke down everything. Like, again, why other hosts in this city, okay, were fraudulent and had no idea even who the guy was. No clue. No clue. It's such a shame, man. I'm sorry, but I had this passion tonight, and I had to get on here and just let it rip, man. Sometimes you got to do that. Javon says these networks and stations understand a hot take sells and creates content, and that's what. See, it's so crazy, Javon, because that's so true, and that's what I hate the most. Like these stations would rather sell themselves, down a river of, less credibility than be actual, authentic in what they do. And that's the shame of it. And you know what? I think, us as a society, we're the problem because that's what we want, right? That's what we want. We tune in because we want to see somebody argue. We tune in because we want to argue against somebody else. Nobody tunes in to just talk. It's a shame. But then I look at guys that have been around for such a long time, and I say, wow, like, look at a guy like a Glenn Mack now, who just gives you great content. Ray Didinger, who's not there anymore, right? But would just give you great stories and great content. I went and listened to a writer, and Jason Stark just gives you good stories and great content. It's amazing, though, that those guys can continue. Like Jason Stark's still killing it, man. Still killing it. But they're far and few between, right? They're far and few between. And Javon, you're right. The embrace debate culture ruined sports talk. It really did. It really did. Because everybody was worried about the ratings. And the funny thing is, here's what kills me too. I found this out, and that's the crazy part, is give me some statistics about, how all these ad campaigns are working, and, all these fraudulent numbers of, bots that are listening to your show, and these ridiculous podcast numbers that, oh, guess what? I had 20,000 downloads. Really? From who? From Hungary. Oh, really? Hungry, huh? Hungary's listening to you, huh? Get out of here, man. Like, stop. It's so ridiculous. It is. And I don't see why anybody sees a problem with that. Doesn't see a problem with that. It's crazy. Food, you're right. Sports talk was great 20 years ago. And here's, here's a good thing. And Foods, I know you remember this. Javon, you may, I'm not sure, but two guys that legitimately didn't like each other gave us the best radio show, and they were completely professional about it. And that was when Eskin and Missinelli were together. That wasn't fabricated. They legitimately did not like each other. And that made for great radio. Because they were both, well, you think about what you want about the King, man. Right? You may not like him. You may not like, but that dude knew what he was talking about. He felt like he was straight up. Like, if he called somebody a dope, he didn't say it because he was getting a laugh out of somebody. He really thought it was a dope. He really thought it was a stiff. Right? They hated each other. But guess what? They knew that that was organic hatred, and they knew that they both had a great thing going. And that's why they got ratings. They didn't fabricate anything, man. They didn't fabricate anything. But now everything's fabricated. You can't have a host. Listen, Johnny Marks basically admitted it, man. He had basically admitted it. Like, when he went on Cross and Broad and they were talking it, after he, walked away from WIP, he basically admitted it. Was like, yeah, I didn't fall into that trap. Like, they were constantly wanting, if this person says this, you got to say this. He's like, no, like, that's not who I am, right? That's not who I am. There's another one, Foods. That's another good one. He says Steve Fredericks was great, man, and Eskin couldn't stand. A lot of people couldn't stand Eskin, but they were professionals back then, though, right? They were professionals back then. They knew how to coexist. They knew how to coexist for the greater good, and unfortunately, that doesn't happen anymore. Everybody's in it for them. Everybody goes into business for themselves. That's what they do. There's no team, okay, in sports radio. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's no team. If you think there's a team, there's not a team. I hate to break it to you. It sucks, but it's true. Now, I'm not saying that when you work, like, four people work together, they can't say they're a team. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the company you work for, like, you're not part of a team. You're just a number, right? You're just a number. And if those people can't hit those numbers, they don't care who you are, how talented you are, or what you do. You're going to be yesterday's news, man. It's simple as that. That's corporate America in a nutshell. That's corporate America in a nutshell. Listen, you're only good if you can bring the ratings in. That's it. You're only, if you can't move a needle, you might as well find somewhere else to go. They don't want you. Unless you're cheap, right? Let's be honest. Unless you're cheap. Unless you're willing to work for nothing and you're willing to kill yourself to build their brand, not yours, even though they'll tell you, look at the platform. Like, it's different if it's a podcast, okay, that sells you on a platform. Because the podcast isn't making any money, okay? So I get that. I understand that, right? So that's when you're supposed to be a team. You're supposed to grow together and try to get to the point where you could start getting organic traffic and getting quality sponsorships and collaborations. That's different, right? That's different. But when you work for a big network, no matter what they say, they are making some kind of money. So why should you work for a big network for free? Why? Because they're using you to build their numbers. Do you not know how that works? They're using you to build their numbers. So why shouldn't you benefit from that? You're not benefiting from their platform. You're allowing them to benefit from your platform. People, you don't realize that yet? Don't realize how that works? I'm not telling any secrets here. I'm just one of the guys who has the, cojones to come on here and talk about it, because it's the truth. I don't know where this all goes. I have no idea. I have no idea where it all goes, but it can't be going down a good road. It can't be. It just can't be. I mean, you see it all the time. There's random people on the radio every single day. Do you even know half these people? They even they make dumb jokes that make no sense. They try to be funny when they're not. They don't know sometimes what they're talking about. There's only a few people that do. It's a shame, but that's where it's at. It used to be you create your own brand, your podcast, your YouTube stream, that's what you do. And then you just decide to make a name for yourself. And then, when you go on a radio station and you go on, a specific platform, that you're actually able to carry yourself because you've already auditioned by doing stuff like this. Unfortunately, now there is no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Are you cheap? Are you cheap? Okay. Are you cheap? Do you have a big following? Great. Oh, we love you. We love you. How many people do you have? Oh, yeah, let's sign you up. That's all it's about, man. And it's a shame. So it's just a lesson to everybody out there. I mentor a lot of people, and I tell them all the time, make sure there's something in it for you. You'll get dropped like a bad habit. There's a lot of people I did a lot of work for. My phone don't ring no more. My phone doesn't ring anymore. My texts don't get answered. My phone doesn't ring. There's no more retweets. There's no more likes. There's no more quote tweets. There's no more messages. None of that. None of that. They see you. They see you. But I'll tell you what. Those same people, and Javon, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Those same people, when you put a post out there and say news, okay, news, and you get it's amazing that people come out of the woodwork. Oh, great, dude, that's so fantastic, man. Yeah, you know why? Because all they're trying to do is piggyback on your success. That's all they're trying to do. Remember that. Nothing about that is authentic at all. Zero. Because you know how that becomes authentic? That you actually continue the conversation, not one and done. You actually don't have to put it out there on public display, right? It baffles me. It really does. I'll give you a perfect example. Again, I'm not going to name any names. I did work for a lot of different platforms and outlets in the past, locally, in the city. Built a lot of things too. Built a lot of things behind the scenes that still get no credit for, which is fine. It's okay, because allowing me to do that gave me opportunities to do stuff that's even better, which is fine. My point, though, is when I finally saw the writing on the wall that a lot of things that were promised and a lot of things that were supposed to happen all of a sudden weren't given to people like myself, and instead were given to other people, that because maybe they had a t-shirt company, maybe they had a big group, right? Maybe they had a big group that could follow the station and download the app and get the numbers up. And, maybe if we do stuff with these people, we'll get bigger numbers. Who cares if they suck? It doesn't matter. We just want the numbers. So let's get the numbers, right? So that's what it's all about. But the funny thing is, you're forgotten about completely, right? But then when you make an announcement that you're doing something, whoa, lo and behold, I remember a specific person. I was doing things, and I saw the writing on the wall. Like I said, I gravitated away. When my first attempt to really build up, Heat Ratio Sports. The funny thing is, okay, I'm going to say this very cocky, which is fine. A lot of the stuff that people are getting, that they're trying to say, they've gotten because of this, they've gotten because of that. It has nothing to do with that, man. Guess what? If you're in the media, you can get those same emails, man. You get those same emails. Now, you can create the relationships, right? But you can get the same stuff. So the people that are branding a lot of this stuff that say it's theirs, it's not. It's not. It's a joke. But anyway, I have a good relationship with a couple people at Yingling. No secret. Okay, there's no secret. Do I take advantage of it? Nope, not at all. I have a really good relationship with specific people at the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame. Do I take advantage of it? Nope, not at all. But when there's opportunities to create partnerships and to do some things, and when I purposely, again, it's not, I can promise you guys this, and the people that know me and the people that understand me and know how authentic and real I am will understand already what I'm going to say. I don't tweet that stuff or post that stuff because I want to brag. I do it purposely to see what kind of reaction I get, either silence or the reaction from people all of a sudden to come out of the woodwork that now all of a sudden want to be your boy again. Right. So when I did that, it's amazing. Amazing. I was forgotten about, but now it was good enough because now all the messaging started again. Oh, wow. Just saw pictures of the posts and all. Oh, man, you're the best. What happened now? What happened? Oh, and then again, how was that? Oh, now you're good enough to get on the phone with a marketing person. Now you're good enough to get on. Why? Because it's going to help you. Because it's going to help you. If you see somebody that's constantly changing personnel, there's probably a reason for that, right? There's probably a reason for that. There's a couple guys that, were promised a lot of things. And like I said, those were all broken promises. Will those people ever admit it? Nope, not at all. Javon, sometimes, again, I can't hold back anymore, man. I can't. I keep my circle tight, okay, with a lot of people, which obviously you're one of them, and you're in there. And I see the amount of work that people do, and the people that are real, and the people that continue to bring it constantly, and it just pisses me off when I see people take advantage of people. I hate it. I hate it. And I will never align myself with anything that's fraudulent or unauthentic. I won't do it because I'm not going to bury my name. And, I think more people need to preach like this and allow people to understand the way this business works. Because right now, when you're 21 and you're 22 and you're 23, guess what? Those cats that are 40 and 45 are taking advantage of you so much, and you don't even know, man. You don't even realize it, but they are. They really are. They are. I'm telling you right now, they are. Okay. And if you don't believe that, okay, just look at the track record, right? Whenever you decide to contribute somewhere for like supposedly a big place, right? Look at the track record of the people that they've placed anywhere. Think about it. What is that platform that they promise you? What is it? Where did it get you? What did it get you? Did it get you anywhere? Or did you just give off free labor to help them build their brand and to pump themselves up? That's the funny thing, right? That's the fun and that's what you need to look at. It's okay to say no. Okay. Just remember something. It's okay to say no. I will say this and I'll say it again. If you don't hear the words dual branding, if you don't hear the words dual branding, say no and get out. Because all you're going to do is build up somebody else. And once that product gets to where they need it to be, you're going to be gone, man. Because guess what? Those networks cannot afford to pay you. Okay? So think about it. Think about it. So you may be building their audience, but that doesn't mean they're making any more money. So all that contribution that you do, to think that you're gonna get benefited from that, you're wrong. I'm sorry. You're dead wrong. Why do you think so many people leave places and go other places and don't get their contract renewed and have to fight for this and fight for that? Why? Why do you think that is? Think about it. And I'm talking about the young person, okay? The young person. See, I broke in late, okay? I broke in late. I got my own story, okay? I got my own story. I had a kid. I had a daughter very, very young, got married very, very young, dropped out of school, okay? Dropped out of school, went back to school, went to night school, got my degree in what I wanted, okay? And started very, very late. So I had to start as a passion project. Okay. And when I latched on somewhere, I thought that was it, man. I thought I had the keys. And then once I start seeing it for what it really was, all those long drives I made, all those hours I spent, all that time cutting video and clips and making hits and doing this and doing that, and then being, oh, yeah, I forgot about it. Oh, I forgot about this. Come on, man. There's no excuse for that, man. I was treating this shit like a job. You know, I was working hard, man. I work hard. I don't know stop. I don't know stop. If you work with Tony, you work hard, okay? Because that's what I do. I don't stop. So I'm sorry that when I see people that don't respect the grind and they take advantage of the grind, I think it's a joke. I think it's a joke, and I'll continue to say it's a joke. You know, those people that say they're going to be there for you and they're going to do everything for you, but then when you text them or you call them, all of a sudden that phone call is not answered. All of a sudden that message isn't answered. You know, I again, shout out to Alex Yo on the Delaware Bluecoats. And, you know, listen, if I'm going to preach, I might as well preach. And I tell you, I'll give the good people the accolades they deserve. Okay. First thing he said to me when I start doing work for the Bluecoats, anything you need, you let me know. Anything you need. Now, how many people say that, right? Anything you need, let me know. Okay. And are they, I don't know, right? You don't know. Then I needed something. Within 5 minutes, I got it. They posted something up. They're going to do this event for Jason Stark. And it's one of the people I have a ton of adoration for. And I was like, wow, that would be amazing. All I did was text Alex. I was like, Alex, is this an open event? He's like, it's private, but you're part of the family now. So I'd love to have you there as a special guest. Just like that. Boom, done. That's real. That's real. Right? That's real. And again, there are those people that you meet like that. Okay, those are the real people. I'll give you another one because I love shouting out the real people. My man Gail from Fourth and John, Gail Sessions. You talk about a real OG. Okay, I'm gonna throw it to you like this, dude. I'm gonna throw it to you like this. I will say that I haven't talked to Gail in probably 2 years. Just not for any bad reasons, because he's just busy. He's busy. You know, he does a lot of work in the entertainment industry. He's front running in Fourth and John. He's playing a lot of things. You know, obviously, I have a lot of stuff going on. And again, we just didn't connect, right? So this is how an OG works. So one of my great people that I mentor and that I'm trying to get started, he's doing a great job. One of the Dynasty Dogs, my man Mike, works for us at Win Daily. He's doing Dynasty content. He's killing it. Just consistent, man, working hard, which I love. Help him out. We give ideas. We go back and forth. Got him the credential to go to the Senior Bowl, and again, I didn't go, but I knew he wanted to go. So I got him credentialed. I came back. Everything was cool. He was happy as hell. But I felt bad because he was going by himself and I couldn't go. So I was like, damn, man, like I hate sending somebody there by themselves who's never been there, doesn't understand, doesn't really know his way around. So again, haven't talked to Gail in 2 years. I text Gail. I say, hey, man, hope all is well. Sorry, we've been disconnected for a couple years. Just been busy. I know you've been busy. No, obviously no harm, no foul. I said, I got my man Mike. I said, he's going down. Can you give me any kind of advice for him, this and that? Bro, here's my number, he says. Dude, got back to me in 5 minutes. Here's my number. Connect me with him now. I'll lake it down, tell him to hang with us, show him everywhere to go, take him right under my wing. And you know what Gail did? Not only did he meet him down there, they went everywhere, showed him exactly what to do, where to go, how to do it, how to interview people, where to eat, where to stay. Had the time of his life. Gail was texting me pictures, everything. That's an OG, man. That's a real one. So you're going to meet those real people in this industry. And when you meet those real people, don't take that for advantage. Don't take advantage of that. Don't. I'm telling you, man, cherish it, because they are becoming far and few between in this industry. But if you can find them, you hold on to them, man, because they're good people. They really are. And those good people, I'm telling you right now, man, they are wiltering away. They really are. Javon says, I remember when I worked for DraftKings Nation and the local radio station had me on their airwaves somewhat consistent. After I left there, haven't heard from them since. Amazing, right? I wonder why that is, Javon. I wonder why that is. Because you don't work for DraftKings anymore? You don't have the DraftKings name? Oh, who's this guy? We only want him because he has DraftKings behind him, right? He only has DraftKings behind him. I'll tell you a funny story, Javon. You'll like this. I know you'll like this. So I like to play games with people. Now I can throw it out there now because, I've already got them on it a few times on specific people. I'm not going to name their names. Work for specific radio stations. Probably the same one you're talking about too. But it's so funny that when I start doing shows for Sirius and I start getting more full time with Sirius, and by the way, shameless plug, be back on Sirius starting February 25th every Sunday night from 7 to 9. Javon, you have my word, bro. You will be a guest because I love NBA, MLB. I know that's the time I like to get you on. You know that. And the funny thing is, when I got that, now I asked people to be on HRS with me as a guest. Final Judgment. I got blowed off, right? They blew me off. Too busy. I don't really have time for the smaller platforms and stuff like that. When I got on Sirius, I made sure I announced it, and I reached out to those same people, and I asked them, "You'll like this, Javon." I said, "Hey, I was just wondering, maybe I was just circling back. Maybe I get you on a Final Judgment." Know what they responded back to me? Not only, oh yeah, I'll get on a Final Judgment. They had the audacity to ask you, well, and I'd love to be on Sirius with you, like on the bigger. Oh, would you? Oh, amazing! Now, yeah, nah. You know what I told them? Nah, yeah, sorry. That's usually for bigger guests. I did that purposely. You know what, man? Screw you. Like I don't play that game. You either ride with me or you don't ride with me, man. It's as simple as that. Like I hired a great dude today, man. So excited. I don't really want to announce his name, but because I'll make it official. Really, really good dude. Used to work at Sirius. He's going to be doing a lot of MLB content for us at Win Daily. And the first thing I told him, I said, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I am one loyal mofo, man. Seriously. But you do me dirty one time, you're dead to me. Simple as that. Do me dirty one time. There are no second chances for me, man. Do me dirty one, because I will bend over backwards for anybody. I will take the shirt off my back for anybody that I respect. Even if I don't respect. At one time, everybody needs something, right? So I'm very, very, very in tune with that. But you know what? If you do me dirty, never. Sorry. I'll step over you, cuz don't matter to me. I don't play that game. Simple as that. Don't do me dirty. Simple as that. So yeah, it's just crazy. I know that just went really, really long, an hour, but I'll be preaching more and I'll be preaching again. And it's just a simple fact that, I just don't like people that get taken advantage of. And I don't like fraudulent radio hosts. I don't like people that just jump on the airwaves and they only hold a conversation about the hot topic that they trend on Twitter. And, I get it. It's something that you want to talk about because people are talking about it. But when you're just talking about the same shit that everybody else is talking about, you have no basis of opinion. You have no research on the point. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's fraudulent, man. It's so fraudulent. And nobody calls anybody out on that. And that's what kills me about it. They keep retweeting these people and they keep quote tweeting these people over and over again. It's just crazy. It's crazy. But let's pivot to something positive, man, before we get out of here. And obviously that's Caitlin Clark. And I will be honest with you. Up until I would say, the beginning of last year, I didn't get into the full product of college basketball for women. I'm a huge softball guy. I was a softball coach. My daughter played softball. Was a catcher. Fantastic. I loved watching her. I miss watching her. Okay, now she's 24. She doesn't play anymore. But I watch the College World Series all the time, softball. I love it. Never gave college basketball for women a chance until I heard the name Caitlin Clark last year. And when I watched her, man, I was blown away. I was blown away. Not just her, but just the actual sport itself that didn't get enough recognition and still doesn't get enough recognition. The longevity of some of these coaches that nobody even knows their accolades is completely disrespectful to the sport. And I'm really, I hate the whole fact that we say it's a movement. Why does it have to be? It shouldn't have to be a movement. We should be talking about it all the time, right? We shouldn't just be picking today to talk about Caitlin Clark. We should have been talking about it. But unfortunately, we dropped the ball on that, man. We completely dropped the ball on that. It's very simple. We completely dropped the ball on that. Now, it's funny when I sit there and I look at it and I say that, Caitlin Clark, a good friend of mine told me she's literally like the Steph Curry of women's basketball. And I'll tell you what, man. Wow. He wasn't lying. He was not lying. The quick release, the ability to not even worry about where the shot's going to go or where you're shooting it from, the complete confidence that you have. She's fantastic, man. She's fantastic. But now I gotta read this comment. So this is, and again, everybody has their opinion, right? And this is why I love it. Now, they're not afraid to say their opinion, which is great. Now, my man Danny checking in on Twitter says she's done a lot for our state as an Iowa guy, and I doubt she's done. Don't like the Hawkeyes. Will forever love this one, though. Okay? True, man. That's a true comment. Now, got another comment by my man at Santa Boo First. I love those boys over there. And I like this. He says, I usually ride with you, but it's tough here. 100% more coverage should be given. Don J. Martin says, Caitlin may be the greatest college player he's ever seen, men or women's. But it's a college game. Prices are crazy for a student that wants to go witness history at that price. Hey, I don't disagree with you about the price. I don't disagree with you. All I'm saying is more coverage should be given to this sport. More coverage should be given to these accolades. Like, if this was UNC, think about it. If this was UNC or this was Kansas and this was, Paul Pierce back in the day, if this was obviously Michael Jordan, I know people say, well, that's a little ridiculous, but no, it's because it's a school, right? And because it's guys, it's men's college basketball, it would be must-see TV. It would have been televised on ESPN. They would have flipped the coverage. Okay, they would nothing. You had to watch it on Peacock. You had to watch it on regional coverage on Peacock. How is that even possible? How does that even happen? How? When Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa were breaking a record, it was must-see TV. They covered every game. They made sure they covered every game. When Ricky Henderson was going for the record, live shot to Ricky Henderson. Was any of that done tonight? No. Zero. Complete lack of respect for the women's game. Complete lack of respect. I'm sorry. It's true. I mean, we do realize as basketball fans, we do realize as professionals that the women are working just as hard as the men in the offseason, correct? The women have the same journey as the men, correct? The women also have to face more adversity than the men, correct? Listen, man, I'm a girl dad. I get it. I've watched it. I've watched the adversity they have to face. I watched the extra steps they have to take. I watch the eye rolls that they get. I watch it all the time. But you know what, Joe? That's a good point. That's a good point. Now, Joe says LeBron breaking the score record wasn't publicized either. But it was talked about a lot. It was talked about a lot. That's my point. Leading up to it, it was always covered. It was every game you watched, they would put the charts up and they would talk about it, right? I mean, when and maybe I'm wrong about Caitlin Clark, but I don't remember seeing all that last year. Was she close? I don't remember that. I don't remember all these. Like, I remember the name, obviously. People talked about it in a tournament, and you started to witness the greatness and you started to witness the drive and the commitment. She's very grounded, man. That's what's great about it. Very grounded. I mean, it got the incident with the fan that she knocked over or bumped into her got more coverage than her breaking a friggin' record. Think about it. That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me. Javon says, it's so fun to watch women's hoops. The fundamentals, pageantry, and the on-court storylines is amazing. I'll tell you what, man. Like, you take the messaging, from like a Dawn Staley. You take her messaging from, Coach Sidney Carter. You take a messaging, from a lot of these athletes, man. And some of it is harder than the guys. Right? They're more grounded than the men. And that's what I love about it. Now, Joe does say many know her name from the last 2 years. ESPN did a lot of coverage. But Joe, why wasn't it on TV is my thing. Right? It's a pretty, and my whole thing is it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to finally get out front and center and above, the whole movement. Like I said, I don't want to call it a movement anymore, but it gets you above that move. It gets you above, the criticism of not having enough coverage. Like, this is your opportunity to finally change the narrative, and you don't do it. And that's what kills me, man. That's what kills me. Listen, I'm in marketing. Joe says you're in marketing. It doesn't sell. You know what? But here's the thing, Joe. It can sell if it's sold the right way. And that's my point. Is it pushed the right way? Do people invest in the push? Are people pushing it enough? It only takes one push, right? It only takes one push. And that's my point. Like, I'll give you a quick example. And this is completely different, right? I'll give you a quick example. So I had good. They're friends now. That I don't do work for them anymore, but because some of my clients come and go, a lot of them stay. But they do little campaigns when they come out with books and things of that nature. But I had these two older guys, Bob and Jay, the Hunt Buddies, great dudes, fantastic guys. And they came to me and they had about 65 short stories that they filmed. Had a professional photographer and they were funny. It was hunting humor. So you had to understand it, right? Like when people say I love Seinfeld, it's dry humor, right? Not everybody understands it. Not everybody understands Curb. I like Curb. Not everybody understands it. You have to understand it, right? So their biggest thing to me was, Tony, we spent all this money on filming and these books, but we just can't get the book to move, right? And the first thing, Joe, that people told me was, nobody really wants to listen to, 55, 60-year-old guys that are in hunting waiters, and they're sitting there and they're saying that they're too old, they're not funny, and nobody's going to buy the book. Okay. Now I look at that as a challenge, Joe. When people say it to me, I look at it as a challenge. So I racked my brain and I was able to formulate, a concept of them being the not only humorous, but safety guys when it comes to hunting. They start telling how you can be safe, how you can not get hurt, things of that nature. And I gave them the idea. I booked them at a church event. Okay. From remote, booked them at a church event that I knew the audience would be great for them. They set up a table, right? I told them to bring some books. So with that, not only did they sell all 50 books that they brought with them, but at the same time, okay, they bumped into somebody who was a reporter. That reporter contacted me. They got on TV. And after they got on TV, they signed 2 book deals with 2 publishing houses that covered their book. And they sold, I think, 275 copies. Now, you might say that's not a lot. But again, it was pushed the right way. And I think, like Javon says, we can say even the marketing needs to be pushed in WNBA. I could talk about women's hoops for a while. Exactly. Right? Like no marketing push. Joe says UConn women had that amazing run that had tons of coverage and disappeared when they went to the subsidized WNBA. I mean, listen, I get it, but the WNBA has to be pushed. It has to be. Javon says, I know Fox wishes they picked up this game because they had the Hawkeyes on the last couple of weeks, including prime time. That's why I was shocked. Nobody picked up this game, and it was a good game, too, against Michigan. I know it was a blowout for a little bit. They were up like 15, 18, 19, whatever it was, but it's still, it's a top team and the top player in the entire country, and you're not covering it. That's what I understand. That's what I don't understand. So I think we'll agree to disagree that the fact that I think there's whether it doesn't sell or it doesn't, if you're a good marketer and you're a good PR person, you'll understand how to sell it. You'll understand how to sell it. You'll find a way to sell it, is what I'm saying. Or you'll at least make a better effort to do it, if that makes sense. Javon has a good point, which I didn't know, because I was actually surprised it was on Peacock. He says the Big Ten contract with Peacock played a part, I believe. So, okay, that could be the case. But I still think they should have done live look-ins. Now, I don't know if that's contractually against what they can do, but we've watched it all the time. Football, basketball, hockey, baseball. Whenever there's a moment, we're going to go to it no matter what. We're going to go to that moment, right? Javon says, I hope people continue to watch Clark and the rest of the women playing college hoops and continue to follow their careers in the WNBA. I agree, Javon, 100%. Like that is my goal. Honestly, like the more that I've watched the college hoops product, and think about this. I'm going to end this on this because I have to get to I got to give my dog more Benadryl because she's breaking out again. But let's end this on this. Is this far-fetched? Joe, if you're listening, please let me know. Javon, listen, if you're still listening, let me know. So you just made me think of something, Javon. You talked about that statement. I hope people continue to watch Clark and the rest of the women playing college hoops and continue to follow their careers at WNBA. Now, Caitlin Clark brought me into college women's basketball. Caitlin Clark, even at the college level, had me watch the WNBA because I know she's going to be there, and I wanted to get up to speed. She opened me up to the sport that I very much love watching. Could we say this is having the same impact that Tiger Woods had when he came to the PGA? How many people watch golf before Tiger Woods? Tiger Woods put golf on the map. Now, I am in no way saying Caitlin Clark is Tiger Woods. But what I am saying is I feel like she may be the one that puts that kind of impact into women's basketball and possibly women's sports in general. Because now she's going to open up the audience. I mean, look at what they're doing this year at the three-point contest with Steph Curry, right? You know, they're having the first time ever. Girl versus guy, right? Having that three-point shootout between the two. Think about it. Does that happen if Caitlin Clark is not commanding some kind of attention? Or at least bringing attention onto that game? So we may be looking at a Tiger Woods-sized impact on the WNBA. I mean, I honestly think that is a huge point. Javon says you can make the case, especially with the invention of social media. We didn't have social media for the days of Candace Park. That's the thing. It's not Candace Parker, Cheryl Swoops, Rebecca Lobo, Maya Moore. I mean, listen, I don't think that's why I was so mad. Remember all the heat that Candace Parker took? Like, Candace Parker, like, who is going to tell me that Candace Parker doesn't know the game? Like, have you heard her? Like, they're the lazy people. They're the uneducated people that do not listen to Candace Parker break down an offensive set, break down an NBA team. Are you kidding me? Man, she can spitball with the rest of them, man. She's so good, so polished. And you make a great point about Cheryl Swoops, another one. We never even knew about them unless you really, really followed. Joe says the same thing. Swoops and Cheryl Miller were huge for the Olympics. They were. That might have been the most popular it's ever been, and it fizzled out. I don't see her carrying the buzz. Listen, I hope you're wrong. You know, I respect your point, obviously, because you are right. I mean, Cheryl Swoops was pretty big, but, you know, it could have been like Javon said, you know, there was no social media. You know, social media is so huge. You know, that shot, you know, Caitlin Clark, that's on every snap, every TikTok of every girl that wants to be a basketball player. Right? They didn't have those snaps back then with Swoops and Cheryl Miller. Didn't have that. That could have been why it fizzled out. Right? There was no influencers back there. There was no, you know, digital marketing back then. So I think with the rise of all this, my hope is with this rise and, you know, with this extra attention, I hope it doesn't fizzle out, man. I hope it just continues to grow because it is so damn special. It really is. And it's just better for everybody. It's better for everybody, and it's better for the next generation and the ones that continue to grow. And I just know how hard they work and how much work they put into it. You know, it's unbelievable how much they put into to polish their game and to continue to strive for greatness and to get better and to get more opportunities. And, you know, I just hope that the right people because it only takes one, right? You get the right person that wants to invest, the right couple people, the right team, the right network, whoever it is, the right people to fund it, man. I mean, that's where it's. That's all I need, man. That's all we need. Javon says, if Clark declares and goes number one to the Indiana Fever to pair with Aaliyah Boston, the Fever will get ESPN coverage a ton this season. You're right. I mean, is there any doubt that she's going to declare too? There's no way, right? There's no way she doesn't. I mean, I just think that she's on that upper echelon path to just go to that next step, man. And that's true. She goes. It's not it's if she declares, which means, like you said, you put it perfectly. If Clark declares, that's the if. Number one is not the if, like you said. If she declares and goes number one, because she knows she's going number one, right? She's going number one. And that would be great. And I think that, like you said, I mean, and if she goes to the Fever and she pairs up with Boston and they feel that dynamic duo, then yes, they will get the coverage. And I think that could be that first step. And then now, that's going to make these girls, it's unfortunate that we have to say this, but it's going to make them even more driven because they're going to see that it works. They're going to see that it works and it's not fizzling out. And that's the biggest thing. If we could show them it's not fizzling out, more people just got to get behind it, man. More coverage has to go to it. It pisses me off when people say, well, you know what? There's no interest in it. There's like you go to a market and you say, I want to write for the WNBA, and they go, nobody really reads it. Well, what if, nobody reads it? Maybe because maybe the writer who wants to write it, writes it better than the people that didn't read it from the writer that wrote it previously. Like you just never know. You in order to create the buzz, you got to get it rolling, right? You got to get it rolling in order to create that buzz. So, hopefully things change. But it was just a great moment. Luckily, I had Peacock. I had Peacock specifically for WWE because I'm a huge wrestling guy. So I mean, it was great to be able to watch that in the first couple minutes, and then she just goes 28 points in 20 minutes. Are you kidding me? 28 points in 20 minutes, ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It was crazy. So it was great to watch. Something I'll always remember, historic moment, and again, just something that more people need to tune in for. But on that note, and we're gonna get out of here. It's been a great conversation. I know I was preaching a lot earlier, and if you didn't listen, if you want to go back and listen, I'd be very happy to hear your thoughts, and hopefully the right people are listening, and I can open up some eyes and explain to people how it really works. If anybody ever wants to know how it really works, man, just let me know, and I will go to bat against anybody that tells me I think that thinks differently, because it's really it's really how it works. Again, can you? Of course you can. Anybody can make it, right? Anybody can make it, but I'm not going to lead you down the right path and just act like that it's a no doubt, right? No doubt about it. Like, no, it's unfortunately. Just make sure you tie your wagon to the right people. Hit your wagon to the right person. That's what I should say. Hit your wagon to the right person. But anyway, again. Heat Ratio Sports, HRS Late Nights, Tony Cutillo. It's been great. Obviously, big weekend coming up. Slam dunk contest, 3-point shootout, skills, all-star game. Can't wait. I'm a big fan. Will the alum of the Delaware Bluecoats, will Mr. Matt McClung, will he, basically, will he continue to his reign as slam dunk champion? Should be interesting. 3-point contest, obviously, for many reasons, is going to be really good. I love watching that. One of my favorite events now. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. So hopefully everybody can just sit back, relax, enjoy the weekend. As for everybody tuning in, greatly appreciate it. Thank you for all your support as always. We're back here on Monday night, breaking down that All-Star game, talking about what happens, and kind of giving a preview the second half of the Sixers and seeing what this team's going to look like and what their strengths are now that the trades are over and the buyouts are here, and hopefully, be competitive and get past the second round. But as always, man, like I say, everybody always stay safe, stay healthy. And tomorrow throughout the day, challenge yourself to do one positive thing for somebody, for something, for yourself, wherever it is, because I say this all the time, if we all would just do one positive thing every day, this world would be such a better place. As always, Tony Cutillo, HRS Late Nights, signing out. Everybody, be back here.